Your Frenchie cannot tell you with words that something feels wrong. So they do it another way, through tiny changes in their body, their breathing, their eyes, their silence. And that is what makes this so painful. Because some of the things that hurt them most are the exact things loving owners do every single day. Not because they do not care, but because what looks harmless to us feels very different to a dog built like a French Bulldog. And the truth is, Frenchies are masters at hiding discomfort until it becomes impossible to ignore. By the time most owners notice the problem, the dog has been struggling for a long time. So here are 10 ways you may be hurting your Frenchie without even knowing it, and why what most people miss is often the thing that matters most. Number 1, overexercising them like a normal dog. A lot of owners see a playful, excited Frenchie and assume they can handle more. A longer walk, a hotter day, a little extra running in the park. But a Frenchie is not built like most dogs. That short face may look cute, but it makes breathing harder. So when your dog keeps going, it is not always because they feel fine. Sometimes it is because they are too driven, too overstimulated, or too eager to stay with you to stop. And here's where it gets deeper. Your Frenchie may not collapse dramatically. They may just slow down later, breathe louder, sleep harder, and look a little off. That is not laziness. That is recovery from something their body was never comfortable doing in the first place. Number 2, making them live in heat they cannot escape. What most people miss is that heat does not have to look extreme to be dangerous for a Frenchie. It does not need to be a blazing afternoon in July. Sometimes it is a warm room, a stuffy car, a short walk on a humid morning. To you, it feels manageable. To them, it can feel like panic building inside the chest. And the sad part is, dogs often do not scream when they are overheating. They pant, they pace, they become restless. Then suddenly, they do not want to move at all. That shift matters, because your Frenchie is not being stubborn. They are trying to survive discomfort you may not even realize is happening. Number 3, ignoring their weight because they are supposed to be chunky. A lot of Frenchies are described as compact, thick, solid. And that makes it dangerously easy to miss the line between sturdy and struggling. Extra weight on a Frenchie is not just about appearance. It puts more pressure on the joints, more strain on the spine, and more work on a body that already has trouble breathing. That little roundness people laugh about? It can mean your dog is carrying discomfort every time they stand up, climb, breathe, or try to settle down. Not because they are spoiled, but because their body is doing too much with too little room. Number 4, letting them jump on and off furniture all day. It looks small. A hop off the couch, a leap onto the bed. No big deal, right? But Frenchies are especially vulnerable to back and spinal issues. So the movement that seems normal to you may be exactly what is slowly wearing them down. And the scary part is, spinal pain often starts quietly, not with a scream, but with hesitation, a slower climb, a strange pause, a dog that suddenly does not want to be touched the same way. What most owners miss is that the injury is not always one big moment. Sometimes it is the same tiny impact, repeated over and over again. Number 5, thinking loud breathing is just part of being a Frenchie. Yes, the breed is noisy. Yes, snorting and snoring are common. But common is not the same as harmless. That is the part people get wrong. If your Frenchie always sounds congested, struggles after excitement, or breathes like every inhale takes effort, that is not just personality. That may be distress hiding behind a sound people have normalized. And once you start hearing it differently, it changes everything. Because your dog is not being funny. They may be telling you breathing has never felt easy. Number 6, leaving them alone longer than they can emotionally handle. Frenchies are not just companion dogs in name. They bond hard, deeply, intensely. So when they follow you from room to room, it is not always clinginess. It is attachment. It is regulation. It is the nervous system calming down because the person they trust is near. But here is the sad part. Many owners see the signs of separation stress only after it turns into destruction, barking, or accidents. Before that, it may look like pacing, staring at the door, refusing food, sleeping with one ear awake. That is not drama. That is a small dog trying to hold themselves together in a silence that feels too big. Number 7, using food as love too often. Treats feel like kindness, and sometimes they are. But love is not always giving more. Sometimes love is protecting them from the comfort that slowly harms them. Frenchies are incredibly food motivated, so they will say yes long before their body should. And if every emotion becomes a snack, boredom, guilt, celebration, apology, your dog learns to overeat while their health quietly gets worse. Number 8, ignoring skin, ears, and folds until they become painful. Frenchies often suffer in places owners cannot immediately see, inside the ears, between folds, under the skin. And because these problems build slowly, people miss the early signs. A head shake, a paw rub, a face drag across the carpet. A look that says something feels wrong, but not wrong enough yet to alarm you. But infection does not start loud. It starts with irritation, and irritation left alone becomes pain. Number 9, punishing the behavior instead of reading the feeling. A stubborn Frenchie is often not stubborn at all. Sometimes they are confused, sometimes overstimulated, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes simply done. If your dog suddenly resists, freezes, snaps, or pulls away, the answer is not always stricter correction, because behavior is often the final layer, not the first one. Underneath it may be fear, pain, exhaustion, or trust slipping in a moment they needed understanding more than control. And number 10, assuming love is enough without learning their limits. This is the one that hurts the most, because almost every mistake on this list comes from love. But love by itself is not protection. Love without understanding can still cause suffering. Love without awareness can still miss the signs. And your Frenchie will keep forgiving you for things they do not deserve to carry. So watch the breathing, watch the hesitation, watch the tiny changes after the walk, after the jump, after the heat, after you leave. Because your dog is talking to you all the time. Not with words, but with patterns, silence, and trust. And the moment you learn to see that, you do not just become a better owner. You become the person your Frenchie thought you were all along.